have made the greatest decision today in tuning into this fantastic, awesome, well-written, Emmy-winning? Didn't we say Grammy Award-winning? Didn't we win a Jazz Award for jazzercising? Anyway, you've turned into the Pastors of Pain show.
Unitard?
That's like, isn't that one outfit? Like
onesie?
A onesie. Yeah, so anyhow, you've turned into the turn. I can never say that word, turned. People are going to stop listening to us if I can't say words
Let's
properly.
quit. It's over.
Look, yeah, I know.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Anyway, this is the Pastors of Pain show here in Payne County, America, the Red Dirt Riviera here on Pete FM. Or you can listen to us on Spotify. You can listen to us on Pinterest. No, you can't listen to us on Pinterest anymore. We got taken off Pinterest. You can listen to us on Facebook. Facebook, St. John Catholic Student, St. Francis Xavier. You can find us
wherever
on
you get podcasts.
Twitter, Apple show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Apple Podcasts.
Have you been listening to Father Mike Schmidt's Bible in a Year?
So I kind of gave up a little bit ago.
What?
And I have yet to re-engage.
You start again. It's fantastic. I encourage everybody, jump on it.
I'm getting significant flack from my people.
What?
On two major points.
Uh-huh.
One is because a lot of people are listening to Father Mike Schmidt's Bible in a Year podcast, and they should.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I don't have anything against it, but I got out of the habit.
Okay.
And have not picked it back up. Then the other, my goodness, is The Chosen.
I haven't seen any of it.
We should watch it this summer with the seminarians because people are, as the kids say, all up in my business for not watching it. They're like, every time they say, "Oh, last night's Chosen was," and I'm like, "Oh, you know," and I say this with great sympathy, but I'm like, "Oh, I know, I haven't seen it," and the look on their face, like I just stabbed them,
or
like,
wow.
Yeah, like
you're so mean.
They're just like,
"How dare you?"
There's an audible gasp. What? And then I say, "Yeah, I just haven't seen it," but and then they go, and then off they go.
They leave you and never talk to you again?
Yeah. Oh, they walk away. They hit me, yell at me, and demand another pastor.
Well, I would too if I was them.
I would too.
Yeah,
I'm with you. But anyway, so no, I'm not up on podcasts. I listen to are the Pillar.
Oh yes,
Pillar podcast every Friday.
Uh-huh.
I listen to the Catholic Man Show.
Who?
Out of Tulsa.
I don't know who those guys.
They've been around.
Yes,
they're part of our part of our inspiration. Because I got to be on the show, on the Catholic Man Show a couple times with Adam Minahan and David Niles.
Okay.
And I was like, I could do this. I could totally do this. Now they're way more.
Can do it, we can do it.
They're way more like organized, and they have like
what?
They have like cameras, and they got all.
Really?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Are they?
So I listen to that. I listen to the Catholic Man Show.
Are you saying they're better than us?
I recommend. Are you saying you're better than me?
Are you Are you saying that they're better than us?
You think you're the world's greatest dad? No. Then, so I listen to that. I listen to. Oh, I have to look. I don't know what else I listen to. I listen to Every Knee Shall Bow. Which is like an evangelization podcast. I listen to Bishop Barron.
There's a lot of murder podcasts.
Yeah, I listen to the Liturgy Guys.
Oh yeah, I listen to those dudes too.
Sporadically. And that's usually about it.
What's the Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World?
Oh.
His world is like, it does like church stuff, but it's also like stuff on
I am not
aliens. UFOs. There was one on a nuclear launch, an accidental nuclear launch.
That doesn't sound like something I'm interested in.
It's kind of like mystery history stuff you never heard of.
That does not sound like something I'd be interested in. I like Jimmy Akin.
Yeah.
Based on your description, I do not like his podcast.
Oh, I like his podcast. So there.
Okay. We'll just have to agree to disagree. But one thing on which we can agree, Father,
is the priesthood is awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
As we said last time, I think there's never been a better time to be a Catholic priest.
Uh-huh. Okay.
We have ordinations coming up.
Ooh,
That's exciting. 2 new priests, Father Joshua
Vatrubo dog.
And the soon-to-be Father Alessandro Calderoni.
Who?
He was here last summer.
Oh, that's right.
He's the guy who lived in our house for 4 months. So both those guys are going to be priests. Yeah. We have some new deacons that were ordained a couple weeks ago.
I don't.
That's exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot.
We have some new seminarians.
I have some new married college students.
Well, let's talk about marriage.
Whoa. So a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
he's a grad student and she's a senior, and they're 21 and 22 years
He's a
old.
grad student and she's a senior. What's their names?
Tanner Price and Julia
Price.
Pierce Price.
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
She's hyphenating?
No, she's not.
Oh, okay.
Pierce Price. No, they're the most fantastic couple I've done. Now, okay, I don't want to say
other couples are listening to this.
I know. No one else is listening to this.
They're the best married couple I've ever met.
It has been fun to watch them grow up as freshmen and to watch they're both involved in Greek life. He's getting his master's degree. She was on my student leadership council. So just get to watch them grow.
She's from Edmond, right?
She's from Edmond.
Where's he from?
He's from Northern Colorado.
Northern Colorado.
Northern Colorado.
Okay.
He went to Holy Family High School in North Denver.
Nice.
144th and Tennessee.
So that's one wedding, but there are others.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to list all the weddings.
Clayla.
Because I think they were on the show.
Yeah, they did the dating advice show.
And Kayla Cuba.
Oh, yeah. There's just so many great weddings going on.
I did a little figuring, and I think between the three of us, between me and you and Father Robert Duck, over the next, I think on the calendar, and not all of them are here because there's been a little bit of travel.
I got one in Dallas.
I think there's 35 weddings.
Is that a lot?
I think so. I don't know.
It
seems like
I don't know what a parish does.
That seems like a lot. I'm sure there's other places where there are more.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy actually, Father Bob Gross, he used to be the priest at the Basilica in Dyersville, Iowa.
Oh, that's
which is like beautiful church. So they did 70 weddings a year.
But they didn't have to do marriage prep. Couples just showed up.
I think it was a destination.
Like the one you did in Southwest Texas. The Painted Churches of Southwest Texas.
Fredericksburg?
Yeah.
They were from here.
Exactly.
So I did their prep here.
Exactly. And then you went down there with them.
Jake Freiberger.
Yeah.
And Morgan Freiberger.
They both have the same last name?
They're brothers and sisters.
Oh,
no,
weird.
They got that would not be allowed. No, they got married. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And their last name is Freiberger.
Correct.
And they got married where? Partsicle, Texas.
Saint Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity where?
Fredericksburg, Texas.
Oh, I get in the Freiberger and Fredericksburg mixed up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to call them the Fredericksburgs.
I got you.
Okay.
But anyway, a lot of weddings.
A lot of weddings. Okay. I love marriages. I love weddings.
Why don't you get married? If you love marriage so much, why don't you marry it?
And every time I do marriage preparation with couples, I walk them through the story of marriage. So I walk them through the entire story of salvation history as a marriage, because the Bible begins with the story of marriage.
Adam and Eve.
Well, I would even say it starts.
That?
Yeah, before that, Scott Hahn wrote in his book one time. He was talking about how there's a space created and filled, like the heavens are made and then the stars are filled. The land is made and then it's peopled. That the sea is made and then it's filled. There's like this marriage, this uniting of two things together for life to come about. The marriage of two things for life to come about. And then God has this plan to marry his people. And that's why he takes Adam and it says he ruah, he breathes. It breathes the life of life. I love that line. It breathes the life of life into him so that God can marry his people. Because then, if you go to the book of Revelation, all the way at the end of the Bible.
Genesis book 1, Revelation book 73.
73.
Go ahead.
Revelation chapters 20, 21, 20. Is there 22 chapters in Revelation? It's at that.
We'll say yes.
Okay. And what is it about? It's about the marriage of the Lamb.
So it starts with marriage.
It starts with marriage
and it ends
with marriage. And then any time that God comes to his people and says, "Hey, y'all," I'd probably say y'all. He wants to fix the broken relationship. He
always speaks the language of the people.
Yeah. He wants to fix the problem that's going on. He always says, "You've broken your marriage bond," like Hosea or, Isaiah or Jeremiah. Those prophets show up and it's like, "You've broken your marriage bond." Wow. Because this is a marriage between God and his people. That's what.
Yeah, they build the golden calf was a kind of. I mean, the scripture doesn't say this, an adultery, of going. We're married, but we're gonna go over here.
Yeah. not living out your marriage. And so I love talking to couples because there's the opening prayer. I think it's like in the Mass of there's 3 settings, A, B, and C, and I think it's B.
I'm familiar.
It says, you are? You've done a wedding once or twice?
I'm familiar with the Mass.
Oh, okay, with the Mass. Yeah. There's this. I
have been a priest 3 years longer than you.
Oh,
let's just keep that in mind.
Ow.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Nostalgia.
I remember when I was a priest and you weren't.
And how great it was.
Those were the days.
Those were the glory days.
Okay, go ahead.
That there's this line in the prayer that says, "Let them become witnesses, eyewitnesses of divine love." Like that's their.
I should have brought my marriage book.
I've got it memorized. What?
You're lying.
But then there's this nostalgic moment of the nuptial blessing, where it talks about that this married couple, that the man and the woman are supposed to be models, taking the people of the past, of the Old Testament, to be models of them.
It's in the nuptial blessing?
It is.
Yes. It's like the blessing over the woman is like, may she imitate
the holy women.
The holy women whose praises are sung in the scriptures.
I love that. They're sung in the scriptures.
Yep. Wow.
And then the man is supposed to, he's got his role in this. And I always forget that because it's just, I love that line, that her praise, like she's supposed to become a witness of divine love along with her husband, a witness of this marriage. And when Adam and Eve go out of the garden and head east, they begin to separate themselves. Well, the woman you put me here with.
And then even then in the scriptures, like especially in St. Paul, the idea of that the marriage, the union of husband and wife, is to be an image of the marriage of Christ and His church.
Oh yes.
That I use that a lot in marriage homilies. Each one is distinct and individual. I don't.
Why do you find that so like?
I just love it. I mean, because you look at, you try to understand like when we say the marriage of Christ and His church, I think is not like an easily understandable concept for a lot of people. But then when you say it's like husband and wife, they're like, oh, because everybody has an experience of husband and wife. But then you look at like the best of husband and wife. I mean, I think we've all had experiences of difficult marriages, whether in our own lives or our own parents or people we know. And so think of the best marriage you've ever seen. The most loving husband and the most loving wife.
Mary and Joseph.
But also think about people in your own life. That is an image. That is a small piece of what the marriage between Christ and the church. But I love, especially in wedding homilies, I have a kind of a theme that I hit a lot, and the theme is sacrifice.
Oh.
And so when you say that Christ loves the church, I love to, especially if it's in a beautiful church at St. Francis Xavier or in some other church, especially if there is a beautiful and really big crucifix. I point people to it, and I say, this is what marriage can look like. Not that like, oh, marriage looks dead. You don't want to say that. I'll make that joke sometimes.
Crucified.
But when you say that Christ loves the church, what does love look like? Love looks like the sacrifice of Christ on the cross, of dying to self, dying for the other. It's beautiful. But I have a more basic question.
Okay.
So we have all these weddings, all these marriages.
Yeah, sure.
It's great. It's awesome. Super fun. But what is marriage? I think is a question I think we have lost. I think if you polled 100 people in Stillwater or anywhere else and you said, what is marriage? I really do think you will get 10 different kinds of answers.
I have one answer.
Go.
I would like you to open that catechism. And
I have
me.
a catechism.
Oh, you do? Let's start at the catechism.
All right. So let's go to the catechism.
Okay, what does the catechism say? Big
so
green
the catechism, this is a...
What number we got?
We're on paragraph 1601.
Ooh. This is in the sacraments
Part 2 of the
section
catechism
or the
on
life
the
of
sacraments.
Christ? Okay.
And it is Article 7 entitled The Sacrament of Matrimony.
Ooh.
So right there, when we talk about marriage in the Catholic Church, we're not talking about getting your marriage license down at the courthouse. Now, that is marriage.
Yes.
In the civil
Sense.
realm. Okay? 1601 says this, the matrimonial covenant. That's an important word.
The covenant is an unbreakable bond
covenant,
between...
not a contract. Covenant, not a temporary agreement.
Uh-huh.
The matrimonial covenant by which a man and a woman, that's also key, establish between themselves a partnership of the whole of life.
Whoa, okay, important.
That's key, whole of life, is by its nature ordered toward...
Okay.
Two things.
Ordered towards, like that's the direction it's going.
That's the direction it's going.
Okay.
Toward the good of the spouses.
Bam, one numero uno.
And the procreation and education of offspring.
Okay.
Two things. The good of spouses and babies.
Yeah.
This covenant between baptized persons.
Okay, so if someone's not baptized, it's not a marriage.
It's not a sacrament.
Uh-huh.
The covenant between baptized persons has been raised by Christ the Lord to the dignity of a sacrament.
Oh.
Okay, so there's a lot there. So when we say what is a marriage, what we are saying, loud and clear, loud and proud, is that marriage should be lifelong.
Okay.
It is lifelong.
Okay.
All right. It's a covenant.
Okay. It's an unbreakable bond.
Unbreakable bond.
Okay.
It is between a man and a woman.
Got it.
And it is ordered towards two very specific purposes: the good of the spouses and the procreation and education of children. That's what a marriage is.
Okay, what?
But if you look at our modern day culture, for example, when you get a marriage license, the marriage license in the state of Oklahoma has changed since I was ordained a priest. I was ordained in 2007.
Uh-huh.
2007, you get a marriage license, and it would say, it was so long ago, I'm trying to remember. It would say either husband's name to be known as, like where you'd sign, where the husband would sign. On the other side, it would say like wife's or male, maybe it said male and female. And now the marriage license in Oklahoma says spouse number 1 and spouse number 2.
Yep.
What's different?
Well, one gives gender and the other one is
Correct. So in the state of Oklahoma, just in the 14 years I've been a priest, and of course this is true in the United States after the Obergefell Supreme Court decision, that marriage civil marriage has been, in a sense, redefined.
Okay.
That there was a time, 2,000 years plus, where marriage was between a man and a woman, just two, not just two people, but one man and one woman. And we've now, in the United States and in many places around the country, that's been redefined by the court, by the Supreme Court, or by state laws. And the Catholic Church has a problem with that because we would say that's not marriage. It's not marriage. And so now we have a little disagreement. Not so little.
A pretty big one.
Because we would say that the very nature of marriage has been, some people would say like attacked. Some people would say undermined. I'm very interested in kind of where this is all going. I love, there's a guy named Ryan T. Anderson.
Oh yeah, sure.
If you look him up, he's written numerous books, but a lot on marriage. What is marriage? He wrote a book called, his most recent book that caused a considerable amount of controversy is called When Harry Became Sally.
That's right.
And it got pulled from Amazon, and that was a whole big controversy.
But it was around for a couple of years.
It was around for a couple of years, yeah. But now to get it, you got to, anyway, it's not so easy to get anymore. But he has this thing where he says, as a culture, we've redefined marriage to be between just two people. He said the day is coming when, he said, since now we've taken out man and woman, what's so special about two? Why does it only have to be between two people?
Is that like Utah had to get rid of polygamy to get into
to
the
become
union.
a state, right? But the next thing. So now that marriage has been redefined to include just any two people, 2 men, 2 women, doesn't matter. He says what's next? What the next barrier to come down is the 2. If we're able to redefine marriage to kind of mean whatever we want it to mean,
Correct.
then what's the big deal about 2? Why can't
It'd be plural.
Why can't 3 people be married? And he actually uses the phrase thruple.
Thrumple?
A thruple. And that it's coming.
A couple.
That it's coming.
But what's his 3?
Yep.
And he says we're going to see that in our lifetime.
It's coming. It's next.
Why is it that why do you think it made such a turn from marriage is this covenant? But not all people believe this.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah,
Not all people believe what the Catholic Church
Not
teaches.
even everyone in this room. I'm just kidding.
There's the 2 of us staring at each other. We both believe it.
Yes, correct.
And millions of other people believe it.
Sure.
What do you think drove the culture that direction to say, well, we disagree with 2,000 years of teaching?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lack of faith has had something to do with it. I think we've as a people have gradually pulled away from God, from truth, from living our lives by a certain defined law.
Okay.
Given to us by God and through the church. The more you pull away from that, the more the barriers kind of come down that we can do whatever we want. And so I don't like this marriage anymore, and so I can just get out of it. I think the other thing that's happened more dramatically in the last 50 years is we have separated marriage from childbearing.
Ooh.
We have taken, so for we said what are the marriage is ordered to 2 things: the goodness of the spouses and the procreation of children. We've cut that in half. We've said marriage is ordered towards the good of the 2 people that want to get married, and children really are not. If children come about, no big deal. We've made it so that children that 2 people don't really have to be. 2 people don't have to be married to have children. You can now have children kind of in whatever context you want. When in fact, what science even tells us is that children are better off when they're raised in a family where mom and dad are married and everybody lives together. Now, that doesn't discount. There are widows. There are lots of circumstances in life that make that situation not possible. But that's the best thing for children. But we've separated marriage and childbearing in a major way. We've separated marriage and sex in a major way.
Yeah,
especially in the last 50 years.
Okay.
Because now you can just have sex with whomever
or whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and everyone's supposed to be great. Everyone's supposed to think that's great. And what the church would say, and where the church has come under significant attack, and I think it's only going to get worse for us, even though there's never been a better time to be a Catholic, is that there's really one institution that's standing firm, and it's us. And that's just going to come with it a lot of attention and a lot of and we're seeing it. We've already seen it. But ultimately, we come back to what is marriage? What is marriage? And we would say marriage is the free, total, faithful, and fruitful gift of a man to a woman and a woman to a man. Marriage.
Okay. I would say another one is,
please,
and you kind of alluded to this, is I think the 52% divorce rate in the United States. I mean, it's here in Oklahoma, it's around the country.
Sure.
That other people said, wow, I mean, there's nothing really special to this. If 52% of people get divorced, like, why would we hold it as something important or sacred? Obviously, 52% of the people don't. So we can do something better. We can do that.
Oh, to get divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it doesn't
No
really
big
matter.
deal. No big deal. Yeah, we have, even though, I mean, there's divorces in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus talks about divorce, Matthew 19. Lots of it in the Old Testament. So it's not a new thing. It's not a new concept. But it has become in our culture just a readily accepted thing that's a part of our lives. You have a catechism in front of you.
I do.
You stole my catechism.
Oh, green giant. Okay. I just came up with that right now, as you can tell.
Even though the new catechism is blue.
This one's green.
I know, but the new catechism is blue because we changed the one paragraph 2918 on the death penalty.
Oh, yeah.
So it necessitated an entirely new printing. It's really confusing. Okay, go.
Okay. Not just a supplement. So you could flip to 1655, which is the domestic church.
Ooh, tell me more.
I know.
We should do a show on the domestic church.
Let's do it. We talked about the laity a few weeks ago, the role of the laity in the life of the church. There's some really great stuff here, which I encourage you to go, and it's 1655 through 1658, and the domestic church. And it says, that Jesus was born into a family, the Holy Family of Joseph and Mary. And then 1656 says, in our time, in a world often alien and hostile to faith, believing families are of primary importance as centers of living, radiant faith.
Boom. And that was actually written, the Catechism came out in 1993.
That's right. So then it
even
goes on.
More,
it
even
says,
more
for this
now.
reason, the Second Vatican Council, using an ancient expression called the family, the ecclesia domestica, it is in the bosom of the family that parents are by word and example the first heralds of the faith with regard to their children. They should encourage them in the vocation, which is proper to each child, fostering in a special care any religious vocation. And then it just goes on like how this is the first school, the married couple. The beauty of the sacrament of marriage is that as couples live this out, they become witnesses of divine love and they become the first teachers of the faith. But, they build this domestic church, this church in their own home where it's not just about like, I go to church over there. I think that's another sort of fault in our culture. It's like, let's put church inside a building.
That's a fault in the church.
Yeah, and then
we've made it so that the parish is like solely responsible for the education of children, where parents can kind of abdicate that responsibility to the priests and the catechists. No, my kids are well catechized because I dropped them off
and went to Catholic schools,
and it's like no good.
They went to Catholic schools, and that domestic.
I would say not no good, not enough.
Not enough. So the domestic church then, like ite missa es, the sacrifice is being sent, and y'all are being missa, you're being missionary. That's what the word mass means.
That's the end of, go in peace.
Go in peace. Get on out of here, y'all, and go and found the domestic church in your home so that you can be, as this line says so beautifully, living radiant faith on your corner or in the middle of your street and in your home. And when your kids go to public school or you homeschool them or they go to Catholic schools, that they can be radiant living faith, that you, this couple, are missionaries of divine love. That's the beauty of the sacrament of holy matrimony.
And that's one of the purpose of marriage.
Yeah.
Is it's evangelical.
Yeah.
Right. So the church, the way that we categorize the sacraments, we categorize the sacrament of holy orders and the sacrament of marriage together as sacraments at the service of communion. So it's meant to be missionary. It's meant to be outward focused. Yes. Husband and wife focused on each other, focusing on their children, and that being so dang attractive to everyone else that they want to do it too, and that they want to be like it. It's good stuff. So anyway, there's a lot more on this, of course. But I recommend the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the section starting at 1601 on marriage. And maybe we could go.
Sex and Marriage by Christopher West.
Yeah, there's some great books.
Theology of the Body.
Humanae Vitae, the encyclical by Pope Paul VI, St. Paul VI.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Three to Get Married. Three to Get Married by Fulton Sheen.
Ooh. Okay, we're out of here. Have a great week. Happy summer. We love you.
Peace.